the title states, this is Remediation Monday. It's so good to be back. And I'm coming back with something life-changing, which is remediation. And this is something that we are going to focus on because we have been doing Tell Me Your Story. And so with remediation, this allows you to really figure out why you did not pass. Let me help you again. You know how after you fail NCLEX, am I talking to anybody in here? You get this, cover the name up. You get this candidate performance, okay? And it gives you if you were above passing, below passing, near passing, all right? And you don't really understand what the original issue was. Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be back. My name is Professor Regina, the #1 NCLEX instructor on the planet, and I have missed you all. I have missed you all, and I thank you for your prayers because last week was a rough week for me. However, the team stepped up in a major way, and we were able to continue on the mission of helping nursing students pass the NCLEX and being able to present this remediation to you. So it is good to be back. And if you are just joining, guess what? This is Monday Motivation, and we have changed it to do remediation. Now, I'm going to be doing an orientation and an overview of remediation, meaning for everyone who wanted to take part in remediation, this is what you will be doing this week. All right. This is what you'll be doing this week. And I know some of you may be saying, well, I know what remediation is. I have been trying to get into remediation, but I need the steps to do it. So we're going to talk about how today, right in the V2, we have that ready for you. So if you're ready for remediation, we're ready for you to remediate. How many people in here are ready for remediation? If you will be doing remediation with me, I need you to put yes in the comments. If you're starting remediation, I need you to put yes in the comments. Okay, so the first part of remediation is you understanding what your issue is. Let me be clear. You cannot do remediation unless you know your learning style. You cannot do remediation unless you know the reason why you failed the last time you failed. Does that make sense? So the first part of remediation is for you to take your learning preference assessment. I asked you to do that last week. Did you do it? Okay. How many people in the V2 took their learning preference assessment? I wanted you to take that because this week we have new assessments that you need to take. Okay. So I see some people say, okay, I took it. I'm a visual and an auditory learner. Yes, I did. Perfect. If you took your learning preference assessment, this is the first part of remediation. It's investigative. Okay. Marie, I'm glad you took it. Did you take your learning preference assessment last week? Everybody should have been able to take it. Okay. It was free. It was free. All you needed to do was sign up for the free account. That one, I gave it to you for free. So you would know if you were, what were they? If you were an auditory learner, if you were a visual learner, if you were a reader writer, okay? Or if you were a kinesthetic learner. If you did not take your learning preference assessment, you need to go do that now. If you need to click the link in my bio to go sign up for it, go sign up for it. That's in the free trial, okay? It is right in the V2 under the remediation circle. Now, November is all about remediation, okay? If you need help, you don't know where to find it, just send me a message. But the remediation for the learning preferences was last week, okay? Also, last week we talked about who needs remediation. What is remediation? Hi there, if it's your first time joining. So remember, what is remediation? How is it different? It is a focus redo. The people who need remediation are those who have failed in the past. Is that you? If you failed NCLEX in the past, you need remediation. If you are not confident, okay, that is somebody who needs remediation. Michelle says, I scored a 40 in visual. Okay. All right. So I gave you the metrics for that. All right. I didn't, but I'm an audio-visual learner. Take the test so you know for sure. Okay. Now, again, where do you find that? Where do you find the learning preference assessments? In the V2, under remediation. So that's what we did last week. Okay. If you need help finding your learning preferences assessment, please let me know. Okay. Now, this week, we are going to be doing the remediation 5. Okay. These are the 5 errors that nursing students make on the NCLEX. I'm going to list them down and let me know if you are kind of following these. If these 5 errors, you're not for sure because you haven't done the assessment, but this may be a reason why you're struggling. Okay. And this diagnostic is also in the V2 now. Okay. So when you go to the remediation section, you will see the exams to take. The first error, and these are default errors that ReMar nurses are making on let me switch out. Okay, hold on. Stand by. We're going to switch out. I'm going to remove myself from here. And then this one. Change the settings. I hope they can. Hold on one second. That's the one. All right, everyone. I will be coming in 1 second. Let me try to make sure that everything is decent here. Want to make sure I am audible and visual because this is our orientation for remediation. So you can hear me. I pray that you can see me, huh? Okay, I'm going to start over from the beginning. All right, everybody can hear me now. No, please tell me you can hear me. It's a bit delayed, but at least you can hear me. Okay, we got to start from the top. We good? Perfect. Hi, everybody. I'm Professor Regina. This is Monday Motivation, but we are focusing in on remediation this week. And so if you have done the assessments from last week, let me take off the blur here. There we go. If you have done the assessments for remediation last week, then you already know your learning preference. That was the big thing. Thank you for the hearts on the screen. That was the big thing. So last week we focused in on if you were an audio learner, if you were a visual learner, if you were a reader, writer, or a kinesthetic learner. That was part of the V2, the free trial. If you have not done that learning preference, please click the link in my bio and move towards that preference assessment. Okay, that's something everybody should do. I'm talking about, I need a charger. I'm talking about remediation, okay? Which means that you are actually investigating why you didn't pass. Now, here it is. Don't worry. It's not too late because we're going to be, at least we'll the next 2 weeks, we'll be trying to get all the assessments done. If you need to do the learning preference assessment, I want you to go to remarnurse.com/free. Free. Because that's an assessment that's totally free. Okay. Jennifer says, I take my NCLEX December 26th. Okay, Christmas time. I'm going to do it during Christmas. Okay. So this week, as part of remediation, we have this document for everybody to fill out. This is the assignment for this week. This is in the remediation section. This is part of the 6-week plan that we will be doing together. Okay. For those of you who are trying to take NCLEX and you've decided to do remediation with me. Okay. This is what we're doing this week. This is my first time taking NCLEX. Okay. So remediation is for those who are also not confident. If you are testing in the next few weeks, you should already be prepped and ready to go for this NCLEX. Okay. If you are taking NCLEX in December and January, this is the time that we can decide to do remediation for you. Now, the assessments that we are doing this week are about you. They're personalized to you. We're going to be looking at 5 things this week. That's why this is the remediation 5. How many things are we looking at this week? Put it in the comments. If you are doing remediation, how many things are we remediating this week? Put it in the comments. What's the number? Okay. Excellent. Remediation 5. Okay. This is what I trademarked because I've never seen these 5 being addressed before. The first assessment that you will take, and this is in V2, NCLEX 2, V2. The first assessment you will take is if you struggle with content. People who struggle with content, okay, it is because you have a huge knowledge gap. That's it. This is one of the easiest things to remediate. Yep, remediation 5. So people who struggle with recall, people who struggle with basic diseases, basic pharmacology, this is what we will be looking at, remediation. Okay. The second, so the first one is what? Content confusion. Okay, this is one of the 5 we will be looking at. Content confusion happens for those who take NCLEX and you fail at 85 questions. If you fail at the minimum, you are probably in domain number 1, content confusion. The next error that we will be looking at in remediation is context mix-up. Okay, I named it context mix-up because there are people who know the content, but if you are put in an unfamiliar situation, you will pick the wrong answer. That's very different from the first error. Okay, and these errors happen when you are not sure of yourself. Yes, content confusion is the first one. Context mix-up is the second of the 5. Very good. Okay. So this is where you get confused if you are in the wrong setting. The third, okay, the third is overthinking. Now, overthinking is the biggest of the 5 to me. Okay. Overthinking is number 3. Write it down. What is remediation point number 3? Overthinking. Why is overthinking the biggest of the 3? It is because overthinking is a safety problem. And if you have overthinking, then being a safe nurse in real life is a struggle for you. This is the scary one for me. Okay. And the reason why I want you to take this test is because overthinking is different from the other domains. Okay. Overthinking is different from context mix up. Overthinking is different from content confusion. Okay. That's number 3, overthinking. Number 4 is wrong priority. These are the 5. Okay. This is your orientation to remediation. This is what I expect you to do this week. Remediation 5. Yes. Wrong priority is just what it sounds like. Wrong priority is just what it sounds like. You cannot identify the priority. And prioritization is huge because most of your NCLEX is prioritization. Okay. Okay. The 5th error in the remediation 5 is second guessing. It's second guessing. How many people know that they struggle with second guessing before you even take, okay, before you even take remediation 5, you know second guessing is your problem. Second guessing is not a content problem, okay? And I hear people who speak of themselves like, oh, I second guess myself. Let me tell you, you don't have a content problem if you second guess. Your content is fine. It is fine. And so when you don't know about second guessing, what you try to do is you try to study harder. You study harder. You study harder. And you end up failing NCLEX again because that's not how you address second guessing. Second guessing is not about you studying harder. Okay? And so after talking to, I think we talked to about 7,000 people who failed NCLEX, I developed this with the team so that we could actually really discuss you individually. So when you take the remediation 5 assessments, and this is how you'll take them, okay? You're going to get into V2, and then you're going to take two tests back to back. for each of the 5. So when you get this form, you're going to take test A and test B. Okay. And I do want you guys to actually take this serious. So when it comes to overthinking, you're going to take overthinking test A, overthinking test B. You're going to write down your answers. This form is in V2 in the remediation section. This is for all of you who have the paid version of V2. This is where this is. Okay. Let me see. Let me see if I can put a slide in. Okay. The form is already in V2. I'm not emailing it out to anybody. It's already there because it is right where the quizzes are. Okay. So if you need to have the quizzes to get access to this form. Okay. Okay. And again, the reason why we are doing this specifically is because you can't remediate without knowing what your issue is. Okay. In other words, I don't want you to just go out and buy another QBank or buy another book or buy another anything without knowing, number one, what is your learning preference? And then 2, what are we actually going to be working on? Because there's 5 errors here, but you might not have 3 of these errors. Okay. You might only have 2 that you will be working on. So the goal is here, this. You do the remediation 5. You take the 2 tests and then you average your score, okay, from the 2. Because the first time you take the test, you might be a little bit nervous. You might be like, what is this? I never did nothing like this before. And so I don't trust that first one all the way. But the second time that you take it, then I'll be able to get a feel of like if you're really just answering this stuff or not. Okay. And I know this is all new to you. Most of you have never done this before. Is that true? Let me know if you've ever done, because I copyrighted this because I had never seen it before. So I want you to tell me, have you ever taken a test on overthinking? Let me know. Okay. Yes. And so the thing is here is we now have the ability to learn more about you. And that's a beautiful thing. We now have the ability to be able to speak to exactly what you need. Isn't that great? I see a lot of people no, I've never done this before. I've never done this before. So my advice to you is take the time and do this investigation, okay, for yourself. My advice to you is stop just spinning wheels, just doing practice questions, just doing flashcards, and really stop and find out, hey, I don't have a problem with content. I have a problem with context. Okay, so everybody, this is a part of the remediation. This is why we're doing remediation for November. This is a part of it, okay? In addition, but wait, there's more, okay? I like that. Cindy Dabney says, I've never done this before and I'm excited to do it. I love it. This is under the remediation tab. Do we have to subscribe to do these tests? Absolutely. This is part of, and this is where I am, sometimes I speak to the general public and my knowledge is for everybody and all these things. But for the remediation 5, these are just for my students in the V2 specifically. Okay. These are for my students in the V2. So you will find the assessments in the V2 remediation. Okay. You can just download and print this form and fill it out. Because the reason that you're filling this out is that the next 6 weeks, you will have a work to do. So the remediation 5, your averages, what you're going to do is you're going to take test A and take test B. And then you're going to add those numbers up and divide by 2. All right. So for example, if you got a 70% on content confusion test A, you're going to write down what? 70%. If you got a 70% on content confusion test B, you're going to write down 70%. And then it's going to ask you for your average, which would be 70%. Okay. And then you're going to do the same thing for context to see if your problem is context. You're going to take both of those tests, write the average. Overthinking, both of those tests, write the average. Okay. It's in the first remediation video. Look for the video. Okay. Let me see if I can show a slide really quickly where it is. Here it is. Look at this slide, everybody. Okay. So you see where it says the 5 default errors that block success? These are the 5. It's going to be right. It's going to be a document right there. Okay. All right. Questions about this? Does everybody understand how they're filling out their remediation form? Okay. I'm sorry. You have to watch. Go over to YouTube for my YouTube channel to see the slides, guys. All right. Yes, we are still studying. Again, this part of it we do in the beginning so that when you're actually doing your NCLEX review, you know what your issue is. Okay. So let me just explain this really quickly. So then you're going to do wrong priority. You're going to do test A and test B. And then you're going to do second guessing, test A and test B. Okay. Now, I'm really looking forward to you knowing your scores. I'm really looking forward to you finally knowing what the issue is that we will be working on for you. Okay. Very different. So after you write down all your scores, then you're going to rank your scores from lowest to highest. Okay. So your lowest score, you're going to write down that. Okay. Your second lowest, you're going to write down that. And this will be your order for the 6 weeks of what you will be working on. Now, anybody that has an average score over 80, you don't need to remediate. You don't need to remediate. But if you have a 30, a 40%, a 50%, boom. Okay. All right. Now, questions about this, because I have more to tell you. So let's just stop here. Any questions about remediation 5? Any questions about the 5 or how to fill out this form? Ask me now. Okay. Where is this found? Okay. If you have the V2 videos, you are going to open up your platform. Okay. And you will see a circle that says remediation. This is going to be under the remediation 5 videos. Okay. If you have not subscribed to the V2, this is the time to do it. I'm going to suggest that before you take NCLEX, you find time to do this evaluation for yourself. Okay. And like I said, if you want to do a trial of the V2, you can sign up for a free trial. That's it. It's super easy to do. Okay. All right. Any other questions about this? Can't find it in mine. Are you in the remediation section? Let's start there. Okay. Let's start there. Another question is somebody says, well, my test is coming up next month, early next month. Should I change my date? Should I change my date? Okay. I'll just say this as a professional opinion. It really depends on how you have been preparing. If you have not been reviewing your information, if you have not been consistent, if you have not been accountable, change your date just for that. If you want to give yourself more time, if you're a repeat test taker and you want to give yourself more time to perhaps learn more about yourself, then consider changing your date. Okay. This is developed specifically for repeat test takers who you can't figure out what's the issue, right? And maybe you've worked with somebody in the past and you say, hey, I failed NCLEX at 150 questions. And they're like, oh, well, just try again. Just do more practice questions. Just study harder, study longer. Okay. No, we're not doing that here. We really want to know. Okay. We really want to know. Tracy says, I see that you added more. I love it. Yes. Even though I was sick last week, this was on my heart for you guys, especially those of you who wanted to pass NCLEX this year, but you had an experience of failure. Okay. So V2 and remediation, not the same thing. The remediation is part of the V2. Okay. All right. Any more questions about this? Remediation is inside of the V2. It's not the same as V2. It's inside of the V2. Can you start over with the V2 fresh? Yes. And this is what I want to say next. Can I move on to the next point? Okay. We all know we have to do this week. Now, when you are finished and you have this filled out, you are going to be ready for the next steps. Okay. But again, for remediation, you should have done the learning preferences, and now you're doing this. This should take you about 3 days to do. The next 3 days, you should be doing this. Don't try to do this all in one day. Please give yourself some time when you're taking these. You have to take 10 assessments. Okay. Give yourself some time. I would say you could probably do the first 2 in one day, take a break, and come back to do overthinking. Because overthinking for me is really the most important assessment to take. Okay. And again, this is in the remediation section. All right. Where can I print it out? Because I have the V2 and don't find it on remediation. It's there. If you have the V2, it's in the remediation section. I'm going to show it again where you can find it right there. Do I need to subscribe before assessing the remediation? If you want to do the free trial, okay, if you want to do the free trial, you can do the learning preference assessments in the V2. You can do that. Okay. All right. So let me move on, right? All right. We're talking about remediation. Hi, I'm Professor Regina. I help nursing students pass NCLEX. One of the ways that I'm doing this is by giving you an opportunity to actually do remediation and be able to do it in a way that makes sense for you. Somebody says, yep, I found it. For those asking, it's the second video icon beside V2. Yes, review. It's the second one. Yep. After the V2 learning platform is remediation. Okay. So everybody has theirs now. Do you have this? This form is available for you to download and print. Do it. Do it. Okay. All right. All right. And so I know Team ReMar is also on standby. You send a DM, I'm sure they'll show you too as well. Okay. All right. The next thing as part of remediation is that while you are addressing overthinking and second guessing, you still have to go through V2. You still have to go through the learning platform. Okay. So this is where, oh my gosh, where is it at? Okay, here we go. Hold on. This is where the V2 learning platform comes in. For those of you who have the workbook and quick facts, you guys now have something extra that I need you to do. I had to print this out. Sorry about that. So let me print it out and show you. Okay. You now have this here. This is the remediation guide. Okay. This is the remediation guide. And so this is what you will be doing to guide you during your 6 weeks remediation. Okay, stay with me here. Okay, stay with me. This guide is going to tell you when to study the videos and when to study quick facts. Okay, all right. This guide is going to tell you now when to study the videos and when to study quick facts. I'm going to put this one in also the first video of remediation. What is remediation? I may also put this in the file vault too, okay? Because it might be easier to find in the file vault too, okay? This guide, let me open it up, because remember, the work of remediation is still doing your V2 workbook and quick facts, okay? So everybody with V2, you get this, okay? You always get this. But if you're doing remediation, you now have additional things to do. Remediation slows you down. I'm not going to lie. If you are a person that wants to get done in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, remediation is not for you, okay? Remediation is for those who are able to take some time and evaluate themselves, okay? So with this book, let me show you what it contains inside of it. Because again, it's going to tell you what to do in V2. So now you are going to get a new calendar, okay? You are going to get a brand new calendar that will tell you what to do by the minute, okay? So this is what week 1 looks like. You are doing 1 day of V2. You're doing another day of V2. You are doing a day of remediation assignments. Like I said, you're going to have to do additional things if you're doing remediation in the V2. So you'll have 1 day of doing remediation assignments, and then you'll go back to the V2 learning path. So yes, you're still studying. Yes, you're still studying. Okay. All right. All I'm trying to do is give you written things to support you. Now, if I just said it to you, it would probably be very easy to understand. But because I have people that are reader writers, they need to see it. And this is for them. Okay? This is for them. So this is a study calendar. Okay? Okay, so do I need to stop and just focus on remediation? You can add the remediation assignments right where you are. Okay? And again, the remediation is only for NCLEX prep. It's not for nursing school or T's. Okay. Yep. This is the 6 week. So for example, you can start this. You can start this. If you're already past week 1, but you want to do remediation, just do the remediation assignments for week 1. You've already done the V2 work. Everybody has to do the V2 learning path anyways. Okay. This book will be in the V2. This is just a calendar. And the calendar is structured this way because it provides minute by minute breakdown. That's all. It's just providing a minute by minute breakdown to give you more structure. Now, can you do it faster than 6 weeks? Sure. But again, speed is not the purpose for this. That's not the purpose. So the workbook is going to give you a structure of 6 weeks. And also I put in the workbook too, the remediation assignments. Okay. Yes, this is available as of now. Okay. So in every week, there'll be remediation assignments that you'll do, that you'll write out. There'll also be new quizzes in the V2 for you to take in the remediation section. It's all here written for you. So if it seems like, oh, this is a lot or this is confusing, it's because you don't have this in front of you. But you know my goal is to make it very straightforward, okay? So just listen to the instructions first, okay? Just listen to the instructions, okay? So Tracy says, I've taken this test. I'm not doing nothing else until you tell me what to do. All right. So this is the instructions that's in here. When you get this in your hands, you will be able to read through it. And I promise you, it will be very black and white. It will be very straightforward. Okay. This is just your first time hearing about this, right? It's your first time hearing about this. So let me finish it. Okay. Let me finish it. All right. So the next thing that you do is you will look again. This is week 1. These are your assignments. And the assignments are reflection. The assignments are you creating, okay? You creating notes. The assignments are you taking additional quizzes. And again, it is to make sure that in the first week, you have really understood what I intended you to know. Okay? So then you go over again. You finished week 1. Now you can turn the page over and you can look at week number 2 for remediation. Okay. And again, it's the same thing as week 1. You're getting the new calendar. It'll tell you what to study the first day, the second day. It'll tell you what to study the third day and when you're doing remediation. Okay. And then you turn the page over. And your week 2 remediation assignments are here. Perfect. So this is your process. This is your process. You can pick and choose if you want to do this at all. Remediation is totally optional. For the month of November, though, I wanted to give you a gift. And so we created all of this and we added it to the V2. Not changing the price of V2, not asking you to do anything more. We just wanted it to be there for you, okay? So those of you who have been struggling, you can now know if you are an overthinker or a second guesser, or if you struggle with both a little bit, okay? You would do the week 3 remediation assignments. Okay. Week 3 remediation assignments. And then you would go to week 4. Okay. And again, this is a 6-week process that is telling you how to study these 2. Okay. You can slow down. Because what happens is I found myself doing the same things, saying the same things to you. When I get that DM to say, hey, I failed for the second time, I was always asking the same questions. How many questions did you answer? And people to say, well, I failed, but I answered 150 questions. Okay, then I had to go through, okay, do you know the difference between this and this? Okay, they know the difference. Okay, when you see a scenario, do you get mixed up if it's in a home setting or if it's in the NICU? Okay, and so I'm trying to diagnose whether the person has content confusion or context mix-up, or if I'm dealing with somebody who is totally unsafe. Okay, my overthinkers, if you struggle with overthinking, you're an unsafe nurse. Okay, so now you guys can figure that out on your own by doing remediation 5. Okay, so now questions. Okay, questions. It's good to be back. It's good to be back here. All right, we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do. Okay, I don't see the new remediation book. Okay. The remediation book, let me see if I can get into, actually, I don't even have to do that. Hold on. I can get somebody else to do it. Let me see. Vance. Hold on. Okay, Vance, I know if you're watching in the background, or Mark, can you put this remediation workbook in the file vault for NCLEX RN and NCLEX PN right now? Okay. For those who have the full paid version of V2, I want them to have this book in the file vault right now. Okay. So that settles that. That will be in the file vault. Okay. What else? Somebody says, yes, please, please. The form, the remediation 5 form that you are also doing, okay? This will be in the remediation section. It's there already. Some of you already have it. How many people have this already? Okay. You have it? All right. Yes, I have T's and Hesse. I have Quick Facts T's and Hesse. I got some T's and Hesse people on. I got this one. Quick Facts for T's and Hesse. Okay. Okay. I'm only doing remediation for NCLEX right now. Okay. I'm only doing remediation for NCLEX right now because nursing school is it's too general for me. It's too general for me. I don't have it. This is my first time here, please. Welcome. So what I'm talking about is actually how to learn more about yourself as you are trying to pass NCLEX, meaning there are errors. I call them default errors. There are default errors that a nursing student will do when they're afraid, okay? When you are not sure, you have errors that you fall back on. And that's all this is, okay? So I am telling my students about tests that I created that will help them identify if they do this. So students who are not confident in themselves, when they come across the scenario that they automatically see the right answer, but because they lack confidence, they will choose an incorrect answer because they'll say to themselves, it can't be that easy. It can't be that easy. That's a second guesser. Okay. All right. All right. They're telling me I gotta go. I gotta go. Time. All right. I don't want to keep you guys too long. Let me do one more thing though, because this is Monday motivation. Okay. Let me see here. I'm checking now. I just got a comment. Vance just said, okay, I'm getting the file. Okay. All right. Other students, my overthinkers, what happens is when you are an overthinker, you will look at that answer, okay? You will see the right answer, but because, this is it, but because you have never been in the situation before, you will begin to add details to this scenario so that you feel more comfortable, okay? You begin to add things to the scenario so you feel more comfortable. But what happens is you lose the original stem of the question, meaning you lose that safety point. And so by overthinking, you go in a totally different direction. And that is how somebody who really knows content can fail at 85 questions. It's because they're unsafe. Okay. All right. Is this book for anyone thinking about going into nursing school? So yes, we have different levels for those who are interested in nursing school. We definitely can support you if you want exposure to nursing. With remediation, though, you are signing up for a focused learning pathway. And you can look at the link in my bio and get started right from there. Okay. Look at the link in my bio. Okay. So it's the holiday season. I think that everybody should give themselves the gift of remediation. I think that this is something that is a great opportunity. I don't know how long I'm going to keep it in the V2 because, again, remediation is something that is typically a separate experience. And but right now, I don't know, we're just happy to have it. We're happy to see it, and we've worked so hard, so we want to share it with you. So definitely take advantage of it. I know we stopped the access to the nursing school course right now if you're in NCLEX. So we took that out. We replaced it with remediation. So we do little things like this throughout the year where we'll change V2. We'll add something. We'll take something away. So that's it. Somebody's saying, can it be placed in the file vault as well? Okay. So you guys want remediation 5 in the file vault? What? You want this one in the file vault too? Okay. Thank you. I'm so appreciative. I understand now. Where do you go and take the placement test to know your learning style? So the learning style placement preference tests are also in the remediation section. Okay. Learning preferences are free. Anybody can take those. Anybody can take those, whether you have my version or not. Okay. And if you have something specific with your V2 account, please just let me know. Okay, but I gotta go. I have to go. We are rounding up to an hour. What else? Thank you, Regina. So I'm so happy to be back. Y'all just don't understand. I'm so happy. Okay, really quickly, because it's Monday. Yes, if you have the V2, remediation is now included. Okay, it's in there in the remediation section. Okay. Okay. Really quickly, because it's Monday, we do need to have the other part of our mindset together. So we have our assessments. We know the assessments we need to take this week. Also, here is our Monday motivation. Go where Jesus is. Go where Jesus is. And that is in your hearts, people, because some people have these different phobias. I was talking to my son about this last night. We were reading a Charlie Brown movie. We were reading a Charlie Brown book. And in the book, Charlie Brown was saying he had all these phobias. So did you know that there are over 500 named phobias in the world? Fear. People that are just struggling with all types of fear. All right. And some people think if I live with a healthy amount of fear, then that will keep me safe. But also, that fear can keep you from growing. When you're operating with a spirit of fear, it closes so many doors. And I'm telling you, I need you all to live abundantly. I need you all to be open to big things coming your way. Because look, what a blessing it is today to be able to do the remediation 5. And you had no idea it was coming. But I think it is a very timely blessing for somebody. And so if you're afraid to even know about yourself, you might not take the remediation 5 assessments, but I would say just go ahead and take it. I love this scripture in Matthew 14:26-31. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. It's a ghost, they said. They cried out in fear. They had never seen anything like this. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage. It is I. Don't be afraid." "Lord, if it's you," Peter replied, "tell me to come to you on the water." "Come," he said. Then Peter got out of the boat, walked on the water, and came towards Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You of little faith," he said. This is the question for us this week. Why did you doubt? Why did you doubt? Okay. And this situation is very timely for us because we are all trying to leave our boat. We all see that there's something else going on outside of our comfort zone. And we want to get out of this boat. How many people want to get out of the boat? Right? I think God is calling us to something bigger. God is calling us to come to him. God is calling us to go where Jesus is. Right? How many people feel like God is like, I'm bigger than this? Not in a prideful way, but just in a capacity way. Like I could be doing more than what I'm doing. I am ready for more responsibility. Okay? This is the path to true growth. When you have outgrown your current surroundings, and outgrowing something is not a bad thing, right? You can outgrow the house that you're living in. You can outgrow your current relationships. Like if you're doing the best out of everybody that you hang out with, you need to level up. You need to have some people in your circle that you are trying to get to where they are. Like they are living the life that impresses you. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I think this is where we also discover our own ministry when we are operating on faith, okay? And getting to where Jesus is allows us to do that, okay? It really does, because God is already into doing big things. Nothing he does is small. Like literally nothing even him creating you are so sophisticated in the way your brain works, the way your heart works, the way your mind works, is that if you are a demonstration of what God can do, you're not living big enough. You're not living big enough, because you are literally a masterpiece. Like you are evidence that there is a God. And so if you are still staying small because of fear, because of doubt, we got to level up. Okay. And we don't have a long time to get there. I need y'all to get there in your mind like this week. Like, I love it. I'm bigger than this. Okay. I'm bigger than this. And so I want to remind you this week to go where Jesus is, wherever Jesus is calling you to be. And the way that we get there is by being obedient in the small things, starting with the little things that God may be asking you to do. Okay. Because you're not going to be able to walk on water if you weren't obedient enough to even get in the boat and go. You're not going to be able to, heal people if you're not obedient enough to study for a little bit every day. Okay. So in your daily walk, let's pray to be obedient in the little things. Yes, let's pray to be obedient in the little things. Okay, everybody. So thank you so much for coming to Monday Motivation. I will be getting on all week. Make sure you follow this channel. Make sure you like this channel, like this video, so that every time I pop up, you will get notification that I am on. I will be talking about Remediation 5. Remediation 5. I love it. It's big. It's going to be big. It's going to be so big. But you are the first to take part of it. So I'm excited to know your results. I'm excited to know. Okay. When you're finished with your Remediation 5, anybody who posts their finished results to my Facebook page, look, listen to me very carefully. When you finish this, if you post this to my Facebook page, somebody is going to get $100. I'm going to give $100 every single day for the next 5 days. Okay. I'm going to put everybody in a drawing. I'm just going to randomly pick. I'll say, okay, they did the work. Send them $100. Okay. So do it. Post it to my Facebook page. Okay. Post it to my Facebook page. I want to see if you guys are doing the work. It's the holiday season. It's time to get the blessings out. It's time to get the blessings rolling. And it starts with Remediation 5 this week. Okay. All right, guys. I will see you all later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Great Monday.